Welcome to episode 3 of our special retrospective series following the journey to bring Asian elephants to Monarto Safari Park. In this chapter, we reach another major milestone with the arrival of Boon and Tang Mo from Taronga Zoo, followed by Putra Mas from Perth Zoo, completing our founding group of 5 Asian elephants. Putra Mas also becomes the first bull Asian elephant to call South Australia home, marking another significant moment in the state's zoo history. These arrivals represent significant planning, collaboration and dedication from zoo teams across Australia and New Zealand, all working together to provide the best possible future for these remarkable animals. We'll also explore the next stage of the journey as the elephants begin settling into their new surroundings, building confidence and forming new social connections. As the herd continues to settle, Monarto Safari Park celebrates its first World Elephant Day, while also marking 1 year since Burma and Permai arrived in South Australia. Let's continue the journey. From our perspective, really excited to be able to announce the safe arrival of our 2 new Asian elephants, Boon and Tang Mo at Monarto Safari Park, having made the epic journey of 22 hours, 1,300 kilometres from Taronga by road, arriving yesterday. The 2 elephants have settled in well, and great to see how that looks over the next coming days. From a Zoo South Australia's perspective, this is a big milestone in our elephant program. So this gives us our 4 founding females that will be the part of the herd going forward. But really importantly, this shows and highlights the collaboration of zoos around Australia and New Zealand. This is an immense program involving not only Zoo South Australia, but the crew from Taronga, from Auckland and Perth Zoo, and it's all about setting up the future of the Asian elephant program in the Australasian region. From a Zoo South Australia perspective, this is the first time since the 1960s that we've had more than 2 elephants in our collection, and it's a very different looking collection in the program, so we're excited to be part of that.
Excited and relieved to arrive at Monarto Safari Park yesterday just before midday. We left Taronga Zoo at around 1 o'clock the day before. We drove pretty much straight through. We took lots of stops so we could switch drivers, check the elephants, make sure they were travelling well, which they did, much to our great joy and relief. And we're really excited to be here. We've been planning this trip for well over a year now. Lots of logistics to prepare, working really closely with Monarto Safari Park team and the Auckland team when Burma was still out there. It's been a real collaboration, and we're really, really excited to be here. We were really relieved that the journey went well. Lots of planning, lots of monitoring. We had cameras in the crates monitoring the girls the whole way, data loggers monitoring temperatures, so we could just keep a really close eye on their welfare. It's really important for us. We were offering them lots of food and water along the way. They didn't eat too much, which is absolutely normal for animals in travel, not to eat. But when they got here, they unloaded really well, and they started eating pretty quickly. They were quite relieved to get out of their crates and see where they were, and really happy to be together, and have shown lots of interest in their new habitat and their new surroundings and their new friends, their new elephant friends that have been nearby. So it was overall a really great success, the journey, and we're really excited to see what happens next.
We thought it'd be a really good idea to give you an update on how the cows are going here at Monarto Safari Park. What we're currently working towards is social cohesion within the herd. And that doesn't necessarily mean them all in together. What that means is about allowing and having elephants comfortable to be able to move through, whether it's a barn or whether it's a habitat, past one another, and having them comfortable to share these spaces, but also giving them the choice to where they feel most comfortable. So if they're wanting one day to be close and have interactions with one another, and or the next day they want to have that space to themselves, is giving them the opportunity to have that. And what we know with elephants is they communicate a number of different ways. So the fact that they might not be in the same habitat as one another, they can certainly communicate with one another, whether that's through infrasound, whether that's just their general vocals, and or the certain body gestures that they might give off to one another. where we are seeing some relationships forming, that's between Permai and Tang Mo. Permai's really expressive and boisterous with her behaviour, and Tang Mo seems to be able to read that, interpret that, and is quite passive in terms of her response to some of those behaviours. And so it's very clear communication between those two. And where we see that really consistently through the night, or through the evening and into the night, we're wanting to see that a little bit more consistent through the day. With Burma's interactions, we have to be mindful of her asthma, which is something that she had prior to coming to Monarto. And that's where, you know, the physicality of some of these interactions can get a little bit too much for her. And so we manage that, or actually she self-manages that. She has times where she just wants to take herself away and have that time to herself. And that's okay, because that's her choice. And that's what we're about here at Monarto. In more of a general sense, Boon and Tang Mo, they've just made themselves at home. All the habitat space, they've really enjoyed you know, digging up the roots of trees and different bits and pieces. And you know, it's actually a really delight to see, and certainly you know, makes our jobs that much more easier. We just look forward to, you know, getting the social cohesion that we're talking about, and getting the herd in a place you know, that they really see the value in wanting to hang out with one another. At the end of the day, it's up to the elephants to decide on who they want to form these relationships with and how strong those relationships will be.
Well, today is a momentous occasion here at Perth Zoo. It'll be the first time in more than 100 years that we don't have elephants here on site. Elephants to us at Perth Zoo and the West Australian community have meant so much over so many decades. They are the most amazing animals, and today our remaining elephant, Putra Mas, is heading off to South Australia to join a herd, and it's very bittersweet. We're very sad, but we're very excited and happy as well at the same time.
After 6 months of preparation, Putra Mas loaded really nicely into his purpose-built crate. He's now been strapped down onto the truck, and now we start the long journey all the way to his forever home at Monarto Safari Park.
Look, this morning it's a momentous morning for Zoo South Australia, and a real milestone for the care of elephants in Australia, as we welcome Putra Mas to Monarto Safari Park. I'm incredibly proud to be in this situation. The accumulation of years of work and collaboration of zoos across Australasia as we do what is best for elephants moving forward. Today, with Putra Mas's arrival, it cements the arrival of the final member of our founding herd of Asian elephants.
What a spectacular bull he is. Like when he first came out of the crate, and you know, getting the first glimpse and being around with him, so I've been around so close to him, he was absolutely stunning. And I've just, you know, just to carry on what Phil and John were saying, like the move that he's been through, and to get him here and how relaxed and somewhat refreshed he was. He was absolutely shattered and tired, obviously, because of the room, but he was up exploring, checking out his inside area that we had him in for the night. And what was really interesting is by 6:30 he was actually having a sleep. So we've got CCTV surveillance going on in the barn there, and that's where we can tap in through the night and keep an eye on him. And like I say, at 6:30 he was down and out having a good old sleep. Eating well, drinking, and that's all the things that you want after such a long move, to see him do that. He's really taken it all in his stride. He's really making the barn his own. He knows the girls are around, as well as the cows know that he's around, and but he just plays it pretty cool, to be honest. He's just right into his eating and drinking and doing what he should be doing.
Bittersweet moment. As I said, he's 35 years of age. He's been with us for almost 32 years. Some of his caregivers have been with him for the whole time. So it's a difficult thing. We know it's the best for him. It's all based on welfare. So we know that Monarto Safari Park was the best option to send our remaining elephants. Sadly, Tricia, our matriarch, passed away at 65 years of age, which left Permai on her own. So she needed elephant company. And, you know, Zoos SA stepping up to set up that other founding regional herds, just a fantastic outcome. And yeah, Putra Mas, probably the most highly intelligent bull that I've ever worked with. He's almost 5 tonnes, so he's an absolute sweetheart. even at that size. He'll fit in really, really well, and we know it's the best outcome for him based on welfare.
In relation to the future direction of the herd, so our initial intent and what we've been working on is building a space which is 12 hectares, and it has 4 different habitats that will allow us to manage whatever the interactions of the current herd looks like. And really the focus at the moment for us, and it's been the request of the region, is to provide a forever home for these 5 individuals. So once Putra Mas has completed his quarantine, once he starts to settle in to life here at the safari park, and that's very different to what life at Perth Zoo looks like. He's been with the Perth team for over 20 years in a city-based zoo. He now comes to the safari park, and all of the sights, the smells, everything looks different. There will be a time when he'll see his first bus drive through the habitat, something which will not have occurred over at Perth Zoo. So really it's been about setting up this habitat. For us, what we're looking for is in terms of building trust as they start to seek companionship. And that initially is our initial aim for the herd of elephants here at Zoos SA. So at this point in time, our intention is not to be focused on breeding. It's just to create a forever home for this incredible group of 5 elephants to see out the rest of their lives in a space which we're really proud to have been able to build and to provide for these animals.
Permai has been at Monarto Safari Park for over 7 months now, and she's really starting to settle in. Permai farewelled her best friend and matriarch back in July of 2022, so the last few years for her have been extremely tough. There's been a lot of changes in her life. Coming here to Monarto Safari Park to support her was really fundamental to making sure that her future was a lot brighter.
So for Permai, play's a really big thing, and now that she's been settling in here at Monarto Safari Park, we're starting to see her personality really come through. So it's been important for us to be able to support her and help her grow in confidence here in a new space and surroundings. Although we may give Permai a big scrub and a check all over, then having a play in the water, allowing her to have a big drink as she loves to drink from the warm hose, and then a big play in the mulch as well.
Seeing her build these beautiful relationships with her new keepers, her new family, gives me the confidence to know that she's settling in really well and everything's going to be okay.
It's been 12 months since Permai's been here, and it's just, gone so fast, but it's been wonderful in just seeing how much she has settled in, especially over the last 6 months. We've noticed a bit of a shift in her behaviour. Obviously with Tang Mo here, her and Permai are getting on pretty well, pretty promising. We're seeing some nice interactions through the nighttime period, and now that's starting to shine through during the daytime as well. So with Tang Mo and Permai, we're seeing some really nice interactions out on Habitat 3. We've got a soft fence currently running through the middle of the habitat, but with Permai having one side, preferably the right hand side at the moment, which is a bit further away from the buses, and Tang Mo having a bit more confidence out on Habitat, having the left hand side. But what we're seeing is Permai's confidence growing, as well as interactions growing between Tang Mo and Permai. Permai is starting to really get more confident out there, just really being an elephant, playing in the dirt, enjoying the surroundings. A bus may pass through, and she's able to look at that, process the bus moving by, and then, instead of wanting to duck back inside, actually hanging out there with Tang Mo. And that's what we really want, is these guys hanging out together, supporting one another, and there's moments of that. We have got obviously development still happening and construction. Tang Mo got a little fright the other day with the truck going by, and Permai came over to reassure Tang Mo. So yeah, things like that, it's really important to see, and we're just watching this grow. And then hopefully we'll get these guys in together sometime soon. So Permai's confidence is just really starting to grow now. She's enjoying the habitat space that we've got here
Monarto Safari Park and exploring. Like, we would see moments of this through the nighttime period when things are quieter, but now it's actually throughout the daytime. So even with buses going on, construction happening, she's out there exploring the habitats, grazing out on the grass, eating hay and throwing dirt on herself. And that's just really promising. Permai's day consists of no routine. It's really just off what we're seeing with her. Some days may start with the bath, other days it's sending her straight out to the habitat to explore or hang out with Tang Mo. Other days more time spent with her, but what we're really starting to see is that personality and that character come through. The more she's starting to settle in now, the more personality we're getting from her, and it's just been wonderful. Ever since Putra Mas has arrived here at Monarto Safari Park, Permai's recognised him from the get-go. It's been really interesting just seeing them interact up and down the fence line, but it's a definite that they recognise each other. So our main focus here for Permai at Monarto Safari Park is really her and Tang Mo interacting as much as possible. Since we're seeing so much positive sign, we just want this to continue, and hopefully their relationship will cement into something where we can actually get them in together.
What you've seen in this episode marks another important milestone, with all 5 Asian elephants now calling Monarto Safari Park home. While the arrivals were a significant achievement, the focus now turns to helping the elephants settle in, explore their new surroundings and develop relationships at their own pace. In our final episode, we'll see the opening of Habitat 2, the filling of the elephant waterhole and some of the first meaningful interactions between Permai and Tang Mo. We'll also look back on the immense amount of work that went into creating the Elephants of Asia precinct and reflect on how a community vision first shared with the community became a reality. We'll see you for the final chapter of this journey.